Good morning and welcome to Campus Highlights. Today we are starting a new series that will air on the third week of each month. And today I have with me Gina Leichty and Liz Shenk, and they are going to be talking with me today about the Good of Goshen. Probably most of you have heard about that because there's been banners downtown. I think there's been commercials even, or
We've done
there's
some videos.
yeah. So anyway, we're going to talk more about the Good of Goshen and what that's all about, how it got started, and hear how you guys are involved in that, and how this can benefit you guys as Greencroft residents. So first of all, Gina, tell me how this got started, because you were kind of asked to be part of this project, right?
Yes, that's true. And thanks so much for the opportunity to share with your
Sure.
whole community about the Good of Goshen initiative. We're excited that Greencroft is a major player this year in that initiative, so we're thrilled to be here today. The Good of Goshen came out of a study that was done in 2012 that was sponsored by the Goshen Chamber of Commerce and other stakeholders in the community. And they really wanted to look at what it is that makes Goshen such a unique place. Obviously, we have these wonderful schools, an amazing college, a vibrant downtown, a thriving business culture, but we want to get the word out about those things, and we want to tell people how those amazing things really came to be. And what the studies showed is that Goshen and the people in Goshen have this uncommon willingness to work together. Even really diverse groups of people are willing to come together. If there's a cause for the common good, people in Goshen are willing to put aside their differences and make it happen. And so the Good of Goshen initiative is a storytelling initiative to share all of those stories. And so we do our storytelling in a season, so we'll do a year at a time. We'll plan the stories, collect them, and we share them through a number of ways. And Liz is the person who's helping to coordinate that whole effort and bring all those various ways of storytelling together, including photography, written stories, video stories, and other things. So we're now starting our fourth season, and like I said, Greencroft has jumped on board this year, and we are thrilled because we were missing some of the stories of the Good of Goshen by not
The most important stories, of course. Yes, sorry.
Well, certainly some very rich, wonderful stories that we weren't capturing, and so we're so glad to have that community participating now, and look forward to that in the future.
Okay, so you mentioned that Greencroft is one of the partners. Can you tell me who some of the other partners in town are?
Yes, so there are 7 partners that are supporting this initiative. They include the City of Goshen, the Goshen Chamber of Commerce, Goshen Community Schools, Goshen College, the Goshen Health, Greencroft, and the Elkhart County Convention and Visitors Bureau that supports tourism initiatives in our community as well. Because the more that people in our local community are in love with their community, the more visitors are likely to appreciate it as well. So we want to tell those stories too.
Okay, I first thought she was going to say, in order to be one of the partners, you had to start with G.
Yes.
But then you got to Elkhart County and visitors, and it's like, never mind.
Threw that one out.
So just to kind of reiterate that, what we're going to do is on the third week of the month, we're going to highlight one of these partners each month, and then also another week of the month, we will be maybe highlighting some of the other stories that could be possibilities for, maybe we'll do a video on it, but they may do a written story on some of the folks here at Greencroft who are providing good for Goshen and being part of the whole initiative. So I like the idea that it's a storytelling project. So who came up with that idea?
Well, IDART was asked to help develop the concept for this, and we really feel like there's tremendous power in storytelling. I mean, you go back to biblical times to to parables, to, modern day. I mean, storytelling is a great way to share ideas with people.
Mm-hmm.
And so we engaged Liz in helping with that, and she's been doing a wonderful job both writing stories and coming up with new ideas. I don't know if you want to say more about that.
Sure. So when we meet with the partners at the beginning of every season, they tell us, what important things are happening at their organizations.
Mm-hmm.
And it could be small stories, like at the Goshen School Community Schools may suggest a teacher or a student who's going above and beyond to better the school system in their own unique small way.
Mm-hmm.
And so we take those ideas and then we go and we meet these students or these teachers or these community members. We interview them, and then we take those stories and we get to share them with the rest of the community. And I think it just makes a big impact for people to get to know those other community members and be inspired by them, so that they also can go and make an impact for the greater good.
Okay, all right. So, Goshen's really, I've lived in this area for 27 years now, and it has really transformed over those 27 years. I remember when I first came, downtown was a little sickly. There wasn't a whole lot going on. There was a few stores still, but it has been exciting to see people take a chance, and these entrepreneurs who are taking a chance to build the community back up and to make downtown vibrant. And then I think once the downtown is strong, then it spreads, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And my family kind of chuckles because we'll be driving down the road and I'll go, yeah, when I first moved to this area, none of this was here. When I think of the west side of town, the commerce that has come to the west side of town over there, it was a big field before, so it has really grown. So how long did you say this initiative's been going on, or did you say?
So we are currently in season 4.
Okay.
So this is the 4th year that
Mhm.
we've been doing that initiative. So,
Okay.
And it's really remarkable to see these partners come together
Mhm.
and really support what is really for everyone in
Mhm.
Goshen through these stories.
So now your partners may change from year to year, right? Or not?
We've
Or
added,
they just keep building, right?
So I believe there were 2 founding partners, the city and the chamber, who
Mhm.
then brought the college and the community schools on. But since then, we've added 3 additional community partners just in the last season. So we haven't lost anyone, but we've just added.
Okay. Alrighty. That's really cool. So now what did these partners have to do to be involved? Did they have to say, hey, we want to be involved in this, or do you guys contact them, or how do they find out about doing this? I mean, besides just knowing, hey, someone's getting highlighted here. How do I, get into that? So.
Yeah, well, the goal isn't just through the campaign. The goal is to really highlight as many people in the community. It isn't a promotional effort for the partners as much as it's an opportunity for them to help share community stories.
Mhm.
So I want to be
Okay,
really
yeah.
clear about that.
Yeah.
But they felt like there was tremendous value in helping Goshen
Mhm.
as a whole be top of mind for people who are thinking about places to raise families
Mhm.
or go to school or retire or build a business. So their purpose in being involved is really to promote Goshen as
Mhm.
a whole, because people are really making important decisions when they're choosing whether to live in Goshen or another community, and so they wanted to make sure that we're top of mind and everyone's thinking.
Mm-hmm. And I think it's great that Greencroft has come online, because we are one of the larger employers here in Goshen.
Mm-hmm.
So that way we're providing, a lot of good that way. But also we've got so many residents here that some have lived here all their lives, but a lot of them just went to college here and they're coming back to this area. And I just heard a gentleman say the other day, we had a meeting with the city council here, and he said, I lived here, I forget how many years ago it was, but it was a long time ago. And he said, I decided to move back to Goshen because it's got so much to offer. You know, it's got the educational part at the college. It's got, you know, the vibrant downtown and just the arts community. And he said, it's changed a lot since I moved away. You know, so you know, there are a lot of things like that residents have a lot to input into the Good of Goshen, but it's, you know, a lot of them are moving back because of these type of things.
Yeah,
So
I would say of the people that I've interviewed from Greencroft thus far in this season, a lot of them share that same opinion and that same sentiment that either they lived here their whole life or they moved back, and they've been so surprised at the change and the renaissance that Goshen has experienced. But at the same time, they've also said, you know, but Goshen's spirit has been the same. You know, that sense of wanting to help each other and that sense of really firm community has stayed the same. But what's changed is the vibrancy and the commerce and the activities have really grown.
Yeah. So Liz, tell me walk me through how you work with each of these partners. I know you work with stories and things like that, but walk me through kind of how you highlight different partners and different folks in the community.
Sure. So at the beginning of this season, we went through what we call the listening tour, Gina and I, to each of the partners, and we met with leaders, you know, communication directors, CEOs of these companies, and we just listened to their missions, their beliefs, you know, what's really behind their organizations. You know, we took notes, we tried to hear exactly the things that they, you know, found their businesses on. And I think we did 2 or 3 visits to each of them just to listen. And then from there, we developed story ideas based on those mission statements. And once we had those story ideas in hand and approved, we went and we started interviewing people and meeting people. This season, we are doing 3 types of stories. So we're doing what we call portrait series, entitled Goshen Through My Eyes. So we'll just sit down with people. We've sat down with, I think, 3 Greencroft residents, and we just hear them out. And then we take photos of them that feature them in their element. And we just put a quote. We don't edit it really at all. We just put a quote from what we've heard in those interviews and a photo, and we publish them on our site. And so far, they've just been beautiful and really well taken by the community as well. They love hearing those authentic, unedited stories. So that's just one of the stories we do. We also do videos featuring different stories in the community and also lists. So maybe in David Letterman, he does those top 10 lists. So it's sort of that same idea of breaking down, like, top 10 reasons Goshen is an awesome place to live, or top 10 reasons to retire in Goshen. So yeah, we do research, we do interviews, we listen, we take photos, and we publish. So
that's cool.
Yeah.
So how long do those things, I mean, do those stay up on your site for the whole season, or, you know, are they constantly changing, or how does that work?
Yeah, so our website holds all of the stories we've ever done since the beginning of season 1, and then some, because we also invite community members to submit stories. So these are stories that we haven't written, we haven't solicited, but community members have just sent us. And we publish those on our site, and they're there forever.
They are divided by season, so people can see, you know, this was season 1, this is season 2, this is season 3, and they can go back and there's quite a lot of content there to review, so it can be really a good way to spend an afternoon. Binge watching The Good of Goshen.
We were talking just a little bit before we got started about the community calendar. Is that, did I say event calendar? Is that, so tell me more about that.
Well, one of the needs that we recognized as we were doing our strategic planning process is that there's no single place in the community where you could go to find what's happening everywhere as far as events and festivals and special activities. And so we decided to create an aggregated calendar to
Mhm.
pull in things not from many local calendars. So if you go to the Good of Goshen and you go to our event calendar, you'll find things that are happening at the college or downtown or around the community. So it's a quick and easy stop. So if you have somebody coming to town to visit, you can look at that calendar and say what's happening this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Or you can, if you're looking for something to do yourself, there's another great way. It's just a quick stop to find activities that are happening in the
And
community.
say someone is having an event at their church or whatever that they would like to see. Is that something? How do they get their information on that calendar?
So the criteria is that it has to be open to the public.
Mhm.
It has to be related to the Good of Goshen.
Mhm.
So we tend to focus on arts and entertainment events.
Okay.
So they could email us with an idea if there's something
Okay.
that they'd like to see mentioned. We don't typically just post about fundraisers or things
Okay.
like that because
Okay.
we really want it to be an event or an activity
Mhm.
that's welcome and open to everybody in the community.
I was thinking like a holiday walk or something like that,
Yep.
or
Yep.
even like our fall bazaar that was here,
Mhm.
something like that.
Please be in touch.
Okay. Yeah.
We'd like to
All
make sure
right.
that the community knows those things. Yeah.
Okay. So we would just email and
We'll
Give
get
us
you to the right
submission.
place.
okay. Alrighty.
Yeah.
Now, another thing that I know everybody wants to know is where to eat. And you have a restaurant guide on the Good of Goshen.
Yes.
Is that right?
So there are lots of you can use apps on your phone and things
Mhm.
like that to look at what are restaurants in Goshen. But what we wanted to do is highlight things that are locally or independently owned.
Mm-hmm.
And so the restaurant guide that's on our page focuses on just those businesses that are locally and independently owned. So it's a great quick way to find, something that's unique to
Mhm.
Goshen.
Mm-hmm. So McDonald's will not be on there.
It won't. And there are plenty of great resources to find out about that. But we also want to try to support our local and independent
Sure,
business owners,
absolutely, yeah. And then if you've got family coming into town and you don't quite have enough room for them to stay, I see there's a lodging guide as well.
Mhm.
So does that just say does it give like a price range, or does it just say sleep at the Holiday Inn, or
Yeah, there are a list of different resources for travelers and visitors on our website. So there's a list of different hotels in our area. There's directions to Goshen,
Okay.
from the airport or different cities around the area. And we also have a destination guide, so things that aren't necessarily events but
Mhm.
are fun to visit anyway. So Fiddler Pond, or maybe Shenklin Park, or the Mill Race. So we feature different destinations
Okay.
for visitors as well.
Now, I'm curious, are we unique? Are there other towns and cities out there that have similar programs to this, that you've kind of patterned this after, or is this something you guys have really kind of streamlined yourself?
I'm not aware of anybody doing anything exactly like this.
Mm-hmm.
I think it reflects Goshen's character in a lot of ways.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times when a community decides to do, they're trying to do some type of campaign to raise awareness about their community amenities, it might be just a Chamber of Commerce or just the city's department, or maybe the Visitors Bureau takes that on. To my knowledge, this is the only example where you have all these different community partners coming together and saying, we're going to work collectively and collaboratively to make sure that everybody knows about the good things that are available here.
Okay.
So in that way, I think it really is unique, and
Unique,
again,
yeah.
reflects the whole idea of the campaign, where you have different entities coming together
Okay.
for the greater good.
So, like I said, Greencroft is one of the partners this year, and we're hoping that continues. And
So are we.
So we think we're pretty great
Yeah.
here, so I'm sure we will.
We don't disagree at all.
So, this is a great way to stay connected with what's going on in the community and read about good news and get information about upcoming events, but also submitting their own stories. We talked about that a little bit. But so if someone says, hey, I did some pretty great things in Goshen in my day, or maybe I still am doing some great things, because I know so many of you volunteer on a daily basis in Goshen. And, whether it's on campus or off campus, you do a lot of volunteering. So how does someone go about wanting to submit their story for a written story or whatever?
Yeah, so we actually have a page on our website, so goodofgoshen.com, and you can go to the link that says submit your story. And from there are a list of directions and criteria about how to submit a story and also what sort of story we're looking for. We love getting submitted stories from the community, and we have gotten some really amazing ones. One example actually from Greencroft was about the community, or the choir here.
Yes.
There was a submitted story about that 2 years ago. But the types of stories that we're looking for are very personal features about what people are doing to benefit the community, and it doesn't have to be on a large scale. It could be definitely a volunteer, someone who's been very active in the community, someone who's connected with their peers in a unique way. We recommend there's lots of quotes. We recommend there's lots of pictures, because people love seeing pictures. And I would also say one thing that we're not looking for are information about events or sales or promotions through there.
Right.
Through that, we can use our event calendar to promote events, but when it comes to stories, we're looking for those real, authentic pieces.
Yes. Okay. Alrighty. So now, this is not just necessarily for those who live in Goshen to use.
Right.
Tell me more about that. I mean, how can this be used? How can Goshen residents use this to broaden the
Well, we've heard stories about people using the Good of Goshen in a number of ways, and one, like I mentioned before, if you have family or friends coming to visit, it's a tremendous resource to know what's going on. We've also heard business owners say that they use it if they're trying to invite a candidate to come and work here. So recently, I gave a presentation at Goshen Community Schools, and one of the principals pulled me aside after my presentation and said, we used the Good of Goshen to help recruit a new staff person mid-year. They moved here sight unseen. We shared the Good of Goshen with them, and they said, that's the kind of community I want to live in.
Really?
So it can be a tremendous resource for businesses as well in that way, to sort of show, because there are so many stories, to really show the breadth of what the community is about, but also the kind of spirit that's really here. So.
Well, and even for residents that live here, and maybe their family lives out of state, to let them know, this is why I live here.
Yes. There's a tremendous
that's how
amount of
I use it. I mean, I'm not from Goshen, but I love it here. And for my family and friends who think, I'm in the middle of nowhere, Indiana, when I share those stories, I love hearing them say, like, that is so cool, or I want to visit, and I'm going to come see what's going on in that community too. So absolutely, yeah.
You do know we live in the middle of a big cornfield.
It's true.
We're just
a really vibrant spot.
A bright spot in the middle of the cornfield. So, so what am I forgetting? What other things would you guys like to share as far as this whole initiative?
One way that people, if they just want to get sort of a weekly digest of what's happening, they can go to the website goodofgoshen.com and sign up to receive our newsletter. We will not overwhelm your email inbox. On Sunday mornings, you'll get a synopsis of the things that are happening that week and the stories that are going to be shared that week. So it's just a quick little reminder to see what's happening. So again, it's goodofgoshen.com. And you just go sign up for the newsletter. So I think that's a great way
That's good.
for people to stay informed. informed.
Okay.
I would also recommend for those of you who are on Facebook or Twitter or Instagram even, we are very active on all of those pages. So liking and following the Good of Goshen is a great way to get information and also get updates on new stories.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, this is great, and I'm excited about getting to be part of this. And so, like I said, this is our kickoff, and then starting in January, we'll start the series with promoting some residents here that we think should be on the Good of Goshen, and then also promoting each of the different partners, one a partner a month. So, hear how they decided to get involved in the Good of Goshen and why they think that that's a great initiative. So, well, thank you guys for coming today, and this is really exciting. I can tell you guys are very passionate about this just because you light up when you talk about it. So that's exciting. So so if you didn't get that website, again, it's goodofgoshen.com. Okay, and we'll try to have that listed on the video for you so that you can write that down, or worse yet, call me if you can't remember it, and I'll see what I can do. So, all right. Hey, thanks for joining us today, and join us again next week on Campus Highlights.